So The Avengers is without a doubt one of the most hyped up movies of all time. And this is a film that's so big, so grand, so epic. It takes more than one reviewer to take it on. That's why I brought Joe and Brian with me to help to review this epic film. Now first, we should probably talk about what we thought of the 5 Road to the Avengers movies. Iron Man 2, Captain America, so on. So, let's obviously start with Iron Man.
Well, Iron Man, yes, it was a huge breakthrough, not only for special effects, but also for actor Robert Downey Jr.
Should have gotten an Oscar.
Really helped him get back on his feet after his huge drug deals and all that stuff. So he got he's hyped up. He's become one of the biggest stars in Hollywood now because of Iron Man solely. So I believe, it's been one of the best movies that Hollywood has produced in a very long time.
Right.
Well, Iron Man, I don't know. He has really taken a new step forward from I don't know what I'm saying here. Like,
just go for it.
I haven't even seen the movie.
I know.
If you're
trying to think.
That's just
Iron
Incredible
Man
Hulk.
Was an awesome movie.
Incredible Hulk.
It was totally pointless because they recast him for the Avengers, but oh well.
Well, anything Edward Norton touches is gold, and I
have to disagree with you there. I have nothing against the guy. It's just I just didn't think he made a good Bruce Banner.
I thought he made an exceptional Bruce Banner, like it was portrayed in the comics itself. It was a skinny, intelligent man who turns into this giant green rage monster. But even though he was recasted, Mark Ruffalo did do an exceptional job.
We'll get into that later. And by the way, this is totally improvised. We should let you know. And if this all totally goes haywire, then that's why. What was next? Iron Man 2, which,
of course, it was not as good as the original Iron Man, but then most sequels are.
Yeah, I think Iron Man 2 either had too much characters, too little plot. Because I think like they got to this point where they just like stopped the movie dead and then just like, okay, we're gonna just go on and on and on for like half an hour to wrap up this one tiny plot point where how he fixed his arc reactor.
Of course, it did bring in the ultimate segue to the Avengers movie itself.
Yeah. And what was next? Thor.
Thor, I would have to say, is my favorite among all the Avenger movies, of course.
I've reviewed this before on my YouTube channel. And,
Thor, it does offer great morale, and it has excellent directing by Shakespearean-style Kenneth Branagh. Chris Hemsworth is the perfect typecast for the character Thor itself. Excellent writing, I would have to say, on the part, too.
Yeah, but personally, I just thought, for one thing, it was way too long, and it's just... I didn't say the direction wasn't god awful. It was just, it just didn't do anything for me. And Captain America, I actually did like that one. I watched it like the night before I saw it, which was the night it came out. And then, at the very least, they were bookended by good movies.
Captain America, they took a cheesy character that was supposed to be made for a mascot to represent America, and they actually made it to a serious, legit character, at least so we can all appreciate it to an extent.
And so personally, I'm not totally digging these movies so far, but we get to the Avengers. Brian has left the building, apparently. We get to the Avengers, and I'm hyped for it, no doubt. It's just I just didn't think it was the greatest lead up to that movie. But how do I say this without? It was awesome. It was just I don't know if I think Joss Whedon, perfect director for this, because it's just like in a world like in a genre of like where the summer blockbusters are ruled over by Michael Bay or some sort of copycat. Joss Whedon like took the action scenes and he definitely like somehow made them even bigger than like Transformers themselves.
Yeah, Josh Whedon also, he wrote the script for Avengers. He's an excellent screenwriter. He wrote the majority of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes, and Angel. Also wrote the new movie Cabin in the Woods. Excellent comic relief style in the Avengers itself, and he really brought the characters together in a sort of a most subtle way he could, and brought it so...
It's the most subtle given the subject matter, obviously.
And intertwined it into a very fantastic film. And it has been reported, as of recently today, that there's going to be set up for a sequel, Avengers 2.
Yeah. I don't know how they'll be able to top this one.
Along with many other Avengers movies, such as Thor 2 and Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Such as which. Otherwise, Avengers itself was actually a phenomenal film, I would have to say.
Yeah, it reminded me, because, ignore that.
I'm sorry.
It's just, I thought, because I watched Serenity before I saw the film, and it reminded me more of Serenity than it did any real superhero movies. Like, it had the storytelling scope of Serenity mixed with the action scope of the Transformers films. And you take those two things, and you really get a great movie. Like, because, like, I love the Transformers movies, don't get me wrong. It's just, they don't really have the media story. But Avengers did have a really surprisingly gripping and awesome story. And, like, anything you want to say?
Well, I would say it's really hard not to cheer for this film.
Yeah. He actually, when I was waiting in line, he walked past the line and said, "You will stand up and cheer at the end of this movie." And needless to say, his prediction came true.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many great, awesome details in this movie. I think there's one scene where you actually went on this big rant about this when we were talking about it. There was a cartoon, the Hulk versus Thor cartoon, where Hulk actually picked up Thor's hammer.
Yes, there was in the Ultimate Avengers cartoon short film that was made a few years back. The Hulk went insane, and he was able to actually lift Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which is, if you actually read the comic books, it's not possible because he does not do anything to earn the power of Mjolnir. But in the Avengers movie, Hulk does attempt to pick up Mjolnir,
and he's like, "What?"
And he fails to do so because he does not earn the power.
It's details like that, because, like, it's just, you can't have all these characters together and not take advantage of it. And, of course, the acting, everyone got their moment to shine in this movie, action-wise and acting-wise. Like, I think there's this really awesome scene at the end where, like, there's just one long shot where they just see fly around the whole city, and you see all the Avengers in action, all doing what they do best.
And Scarlett Johansson, of course, is just fun to watch. You know, she is she's an amazing actress for herself. Started out at a young age, child actress.
Her first scene in this movie was pretty gold, and I think she has a great scene with Loki, which we can't talk about. It's gonna be really hard not to spoil this movie. I think this might even be harder to not to spoil than Cabin in the Woods, because Cabin in the Woods, going in, you knew there were going to be twists you probably couldn't talk about. The Avengers, people were going in thinking it was going to be like this run-of-the-mill action movie, and then right from the start you hit them with a left.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we can say on the matter. But we should probably talk about Mark Ruffalo. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a fan of Eric Bana's work as Bruce Banner, but I think Mark Ruffalo actually was very what. Yeah, I know. We'll wrap it up. Mark Ruffalo very, very convincing in the role, but I would actually say he's the best. So final score for this movie. Sorry, we're wrapping up. We have a time limit. Final score out of 10.
10.
Perfect 10. This is a perfect movie, and it's not just a perfect action movie, but it's just a perfect movie in general. Because I think, like, with an action movie, you have like certain rules you have to abide by. It has to be like just like the action scenes have to be flawless. But if you live or die by that, you have to live or die by that. And but this movie had good action and great story. So yeah, I think that's it on the Avengers. And if this was a letdown review, I'm sorry, but all right, Fantasy 27 out. Cut.